From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. We begin with some breaking news. One person is in the hospital after a robbery and shooting in the 300 block of South 28th Street. According to a tweet from Billings Police, a robbery occurred at that location where shots were fired. The robbery suspect was spotted but then tried to run from officers before being apprehended. The suspect was transported to a hospital with injuries. There were no other details released at this time, and the investigation is continuing. Keep it here on KTVQ and on our website, ktvq.com, for the latest. We told you yesterday that Billings received an $11.6 million federal grant to help with trails. That grant will help with the Skyline Trail along Highway 3 from Zimmerman Park to Swords Park. It will also pay for trails on the Inner Belt Loop when it's constructed from the Heights to Zimmerman Trail. Q2's David J. talked with Mayor Bill Cole about the grants and the trails.
Yesterday was a great day. I got a phone call from Senator Daines at 9 o'clock in the morning saying that he just got off the phone with Secretary Elaine Chao, the Department of Transportation. Billings had got our build grant. We're the only city in Montana, $11.6 million.
Mayor Bill Cole says the grant money will help with 2 trails.
The funds are going to go to the construction of the Skyline Trail from the airport to the top of Zimmerman Trail, 3.5 miles, and then also to construction of the Inner Belt Loop to provide a safer connection in and out of the Heights and also provide a great trail connection.
So the Inner Belt Loop will come from that direction. The Skyline Trail will go from here out towards Swords Park, and the mayor says both trails will come and meet here at the top of Zimmerman Trail.
It's beautiful country, and the Inner Belt Loop will have a separated pedestrian and bike trail. And so when that's completed, it's going to be an amazing facility for bikers and pedestrians who want a long bike ride or walk from the northern part of the Heights all the way to Zimmerman Trail.
And the mayor says this will be an important part of Billings.
Sometimes when you're working on this, you're not sure it's ever going to reach fruition, but when it does, it's very exciting. The Skyline Trail is going to be iconic. It's going to be the signature thing that people talk about to do when they come to visit. It's going to be something that marks us for generations to come.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Thanks, David. The Skyline Trail is part of the proposed Marathon Loop, a 26.2-mile trail around Billings. Well, the campaign over marijuana legalization in Montana is taking shape as a group opposing legalization initiatives has now been launched. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian talked to supporters and opponents of the initiatives about what they're planning for in the coming months.
In the November election, Montana voters will consider a pair of linked initiatives that would create a recreational marijuana system in the state. This week, the first official committee opposing those measures announced its campaign against them. The group Wrong for Montana has begun placing billboards around the state, calling for voters to reject I-190 and CI-118. Leaders say their campaign will highlight the negative effects they believe recreational marijuana has had in other states.
All you have to do is go to Colorado for a test site. They've been up and running now for 8 years. And if you look at the traffic accidents, you look at the emergency room, you look at the vagrants that are on the street, you look at the activity in the black market as well as the regular market down there, it has just exploded.
Wrong for Montana has received support from the Montana Family Foundation, Montana Contractors Association, and the national group Smart Approaches to Marijuana. I-190 would create a framework for recreational marijuana in Montana, and CI-118 would let the state limit sales to those 21 and older. Leaders with New Approach Montana, the group that proposed the initiatives, say the opponents are exaggerating the impacts of legalization, and that recreational marijuana could be a valuable source of revenue for the state. They remain confident voters will support the measures.
We know what Montanans think about marijuana because we went out and spoke to them over the last 2 years. We had very close conversations. And so we're very aware of what Montanans want out of this regulation, and it went into the writing of it.
Voters will soon be seeing more advertising in this campaign. New Approach Montana has already spent $2.3 million on TV time, and they plan more spending on digital ads. In addition to its billboards, Wrong for Montana is working on digital ads of its own. Also this week, the Montana Contractors Association announced its endorsement of Congressman Greg Gianforte, the Republican candidate for governor, pointing to his opposition to legalization. Gianforte's campaign says he's voting against I-190, but that the issue is up to voters to decide. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Well, tonight, 7 more COVID-19 related deaths have been reported across the state. The latest and the first confirmed death in Fergus County. A patient at the Montana Mental Health Nursing Care Center died in Lewistown today. Now, there have been 7 confirmed cases there. 5 staff and 1 resident are considered active. And Flathead County reports 4 victims today at a senior living facility in Whitefish. So far, 10 people have died there, and 75% of the residents are confirmed positive. Sanders County also reporting a death, and Gallatin County reported a death this afternoon that actually happened back in August. Now, the state also confirms 124 new active cases today. The U.S. Forest Service and Gallatin County Sheriff's Office have now determined the cause of the Bridger Foothills fire. Today it was ruled that lightning over Bozeman and the Bridger Mountains sparked that blaze on Friday afternoon. Those flames, which raged for days, have burned over 8,000 acres, destroyed some 28 homes. The fire is now 63% contained. More than 350 personnel continue to fight that blaze. Turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. Bob, we could soon be seeing some smoke for part of our weekend at least.
Well, you know, it was kind of nice the last couple of days. The smoke had moved out of here and it cleared up very nice. But now, let me show you what's going to happen. We go to the graphic. This is our satellite smoke forecast thing. And take a look at this. But it looks like by the time Saturday evening gets here, we're going to see some smoke come from Great Falls down into the Billings area. And eventually, by the time the end of the weekend is here, look at all the smoke moving in on 10:30 on Sunday. Yeah, and that's not the only thing. Check this out. We're going to see more smoke moving into much of Montana all the way across Monday and Tuesday. And that smoke will go all the way to the Great Lakes state. So we were wondering, well, just what is inside all that smoke? Well, wildfire smoke is a mixture of chemicals, and here's some of them: carbon dioxide and water vapor. You also have carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons. You'll also find particulate matter, that's like ash, in the air, and also this: nitrogen oxide, organic chemicals, and trace minerals. That's what happens when all that stuff burns, and little wood chips and all that start burning, and they get into the air as well. That's what's happening. You don't want to breathe that stuff in if you can possibly not. Anyway, we'll have your weekend forecast next week in a few more minutes.
Thank you, Bob. The Navy submarine that will bear the name of the great state of Montana is set to be christened. Crews have been getting ready for tomorrow's ceremony, which will be held virtually in Virginia. The Montana SSN 794 is a nuclear-powered, fast-attack submarine. It'll be one of the most powerful lethal warships in the fleet. The USS Montana Commissioning Committee will be responsible for building relationships with the sailors over coming years, also giving the submarine a Montana theme.
I think all Montanans should be proud of the fact that we will have one of the leading-edge warships in the country, defending our country, being on guard, on scene, unseen, in dangerous places, a little more than probably a year from now once she commissions into the fleet. The commander, the crew, the shipbuilders have all pulled together in a difficult time to get the USS Montana where she is now.
Well, the last time Montana had a ship named after it was in 1908. Billings, of course, already has a Navy warship named after it that was commissioned into service last summer. Big weekend underway at Metro Park with 3 events playing out on the grounds. Today, the Billings Gun Show and the Home Improvement Show got underway at the Montana Pavilion and Expo Center. Masks or facial coverings are required for entry. And tonight, the PBR opened up a 3-day run inside the First Interstate Arena. Metro Park Marketing Director Ray Massey says pod seating will be in place this weekend at the PBR.
With all the events we have going on at Metro Park this weekend, we have no concern at all about the number of events happening at one time, because we're going to be able to have each event properly separated. They're taking care of the individual protocols that worked out with the county health department. So we're all set for a great weekend of activity at Metro Park, and man, we have been looking forward to something like this.
Parking inside the Metro grounds on the Carnival lot is closed due to construction, but both the middle and upper parking lots near the Metro are open. Doors for tomorrow's PBR performance open at 5:15 with the event set to begin at 6:45. Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, a trip to Laurel where you'll find a sea of red, white, and blue, all to remember first responders and civilians who lost their lives on 9/11. And volleyball, football, and even the PBR highlighting a busy Magic City sports night. That's coming up in just a bit.